what did you mean with the English Riviera?
Well, it's kind of quite a few things. I mean, it's this place I grew up, so it was supposed to be this kind of like maybe a slightly like a remembering like when I grew up there, but remembering it as a place that it wasn't like so. Remembering it that it was maybe really exciting when in fact it's quite boring. But yeah, so it's a bit nostalgic.
It's a bit nostalgic.
Yeah.
So you flew away from that place?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my parents still live there, but I lived in, I was in London for a long time, and yeah, so it's kind of, I've got to the age where I remember it very like happily, and I don't think I was very happy there, but at the same time it wasn't amazing. So I'm remembering it as being amazing.
For your music, it was necessary to go away, to go to London. For
It's very difficult to stay in like the southwest of England and become part of music, because it all happens in London or other big cities. So yeah, I mean, and it's also, I think it was necessary just to meet people and to like experience things.
How can you describe your sound?
The sound? Well, I mean, I think I don't really describe it very, very well. Like but I think, I mean, what I try to do is try to be a kind of like interesting songwriter and to try and make. I make music that's interesting, and I think that's kind of like that's what pop musicians do, or like that's what I hope they do. So I kind of think it's just pop music, but maybe I hear it differently to other people.
It sounds a little bit 80s or that stuff. Does it sound actual too?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's this kind of a lot of people mention the 80s, but I think I grew up. I was born in the 80s, and all this music would have kind of entered my head subconsciously. So I think it would maybe be a very conscious decision for like an 18-year-old now to make 80s sounding music. But if anything sounds like the 80s, it's just natural. Like it's not intentional, really.
How have you got an idea of the public, the fans, the profile of your fans?
Well, it kind of. I mean, now with the new album, it's changed. There are more new people, and I think maybe the new people are slightly older. Like, but that, I mean, not like old. But I mean, we always used to have a real solid fan base of very young people, and it's just changing, I guess, because the album is being received in a more kind of mainstream way. It means you just get more kind of normal people, which is great. It's very nice for us.
Were you prepared to be in the mainstream?
Still, to be honest, in England, it still feels like we aren't, we're still on the kind of outside. And I think probably I feel like that in France or in Germany, like we are still not in the mainstream. But it feels like, I think it's nice that where we are now is because we've just done what we do naturally. Like there's no effort to become like mainstream or anything like that. But it does feel a bit unusual, but in a nice way.
You said you will change on every LP? From style?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said I would always try and keep it interesting. I think I suppose what I mean is just that there's no point to do the same thing immediately again. So I think I like the idea of keeping the albums exciting, and I like the idea that people maybe don't know what to expect from the next album, and I think that's a really, it feels like a kind of unusual thing, and it's very nice that people like it. So I think we'd carry on doing things that are a bit like exciting, hopefully.
The Bay and that stuff are now hits.
Yeah. Well, no, I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, like I don't know what a hit is nowadays, but I mean, yeah, that people really like them. It's great. Yeah.
What is the secret to make a hit for
Oh,
you?
I've got no idea. I mean, with things like the Bay and the Look, they were just songs that I didn't even really imagine to be singles, you know, or to be hits. So I think probably my secret is like that I don't know what I'm doing. No, but it's true. No, but I mean, there's no like, yeah, you know, like I did a song like The Look, and afterwards I thought, well, this is a nice song, but I didn't think, wow, this is amazing. You know, it was other people said, oh, this is a really good single. So I think it's best to not try and write hits or singles, really.
What do you think of the impact of your music in France, especially where you live?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's so nice. Well, because we have the French record label, so I spend a lot of time in France. Well, we all do, and it's just unusual, I think, for an English band to have this kind of reception in France, and we really love it. Like, we really enjoy the fact that we have these two places, and they all kind of they both feel like a kind of home or whatever. So it's amazing. It's very nice for us.
So how can you the future for you, for Joseph Mount, alone with a band?
I mean, the next album will definitely be a band thing, you know, and I think we're like lucky to be doing well, so we might as well just keep trying to do well.
With the same members?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, unless anyone wants to leave, they can stay. You know, like the only reason it changed was because Gabriel wanted to leave. You know, he would still be in the band if he didn't want to leave. So if people want to stay, they can stay.
And last question, how do you feel this festival, the Republicain?
It seems amazing. Like we arrived very recently, but it seems like very beautiful. Like look, well, it's wonderful. It seems great.
Thank you very much, Joseph.
Thank you. It's fine.
Thank you. T'as pu faire une photo ou pas?
Non,